Welcome to this new video about Semantic Kernel in C#, where we're going to look at how to write a plugin and how to directly invoke a plugin after it's loaded by Semantic Kernel. First of all, to write a C# plugin, you can simply create a class like the audio video. Then inside this class, you can put some method like extract audio, and you just decorate with a couple of attributes. The kernel function that is telling Semantic Kernel that this is a function it can import, and then the description in which you are describing with a natural language what the method is doing. And this is a simple porting of the ffmpeg process calling to extract audio from a file I've ported from Python. And then when I want to transcript timeline, so I have my function that can transcript audio with the OpenAI Whisper. As you see in the first video about Semantic Kernel and C#, I'm able to use a Python wrapper that simply point to a special location of the virtual environment where I've configured my virtual environment for Python. So you see, this is the code. This is the full path of my Mac. And I'm going to change to show you that I can use the very same syntax using this code in Windows. I just change the path. And this allows me to invoke my Python script that is going to transcript my audio file with OpenAI Whisper. And that's how simple it's creating a Semantic Kernel plugin simply using a C# method and a couple of attributes. If you want to create a standard plugin composed by a simple prompt, it is the very same history of Python. You create a folder where you put your plugin, and then you put two files called config.json, and it's like this, where you are configuring how you want your large language model to be called. Like as an example, temperature, top P, the max token, and clearly a good description of the plugin, because the description will be used by Semantic Kernel to understand when it need to use the plugin, and usually all the parameter, like the situation where you give for each parameter a description that allows Semantic Kernel to understand what it need to pass to that parameter, and then a file skprompt.txt where you can simply put all the text of your prompt, and then this special syntax that will be used to take the parameter, transcript in this situation, of this plugin, and the parameter will be substituted directly with a simple replace inside this plugin. And this is everything you need to do to write plugin in C# or simply plugin that are using an invocation on the large language model. And as I told you before, you have also the option of using my Python wrapper to create a C# plugin that in reality is simply calling a Python script to leave you the flexibility to call your Python script even from C# code without any problem. Now in this 03 option, we can show you how easy it is to load the plugin from code. As an example, in the line 118, I importing all the plugin contained into plugins directory publishing plugin. And this is used to import your plugin made with a simple call to a large language model, those one that has config.json and skprompt. You can also create an instance of your class. So you are actually in line 121 creating a plugin, your concrete instance. And then you can just use the import plugin from object to create a plugin. And in both the situation, I'm using a console write line to show and to verify that everything is okay. And the console write line allows you to understand how much function are imported. So I need to use this to verify that everything is correct. After launching the program, I'm in this line after I've loaded all the plugin contained into the directory I've specified. So I can simply go and verify that everything is correct. So I'm step out and imported one function from publishing plugin, and that confirmed that it correctly import my single function contained into plugin directory. And then I can go on. I creating the concrete class of my C# plugin, and this time I do to console write line, and this time I have imported two functions because actually I have the extract audio plugin the extract audio method, and I have the transcript plugin. And so everything is correct. I've imported everything inside my kernel object. Now, if I want to call a plugin directly, I can use the function, the method try get function directly from the plugin object that get returned from the import plugin from object function or import plugin from directory. And if this call succeed in my extract audio, I will have an object that I can use because I can create a kernel argument function that basically is a dictionary of parameter. I need to know, and this is the part where it's a little bit not so so simple. You need to understand the name of the parameter of the plugin because this is manual interaction. We will see in the next video how Semantic Kernel make everything much more easier for you. But in this situation, I just want to call the plugin directly. So I'm populating the parameter and I use the invoke async directly from the function returned by the extract audio. And the result is that I have my call result and the call result of the extract audio from plugin converted my MP4 into WAV using FFmpeg. Now I can move on. I can simply call result get value and using the type of the answer, and we can simply verify that the audio file is ctemp.ssh.wav. And then I go on. I call the try-get function on the transcript timeline, and I use a new kernel argument. And this time I'm going to specify the audio file that get extracted from the previous video. And I'm going to call this function. Now, this is the method that actually use the Python wrapper to import and to call the Python plugin. And so you can see that I have a progress bar that is showing that I'm really interacting with my OpenAI Whisper. And when it finished, I simply have the call result. I can call another time the get value, and this is the whole transcript of the file. And finally, I want to invoke my final plugin, the one that uses direct call to my large language model, to GPT-4 this time. And I call the video timeline creator invoke async, and it's going to invoke GPT-4. And I can take my timeline, and as you can see, it actually made my day because I directly call RC3 plugin going from a video to a summarization of the transcription that I can install into I use in my YouTube description. And clearly this is a little bit awkward because you need to know the name of the parameter and everything else, but it shows you how easy it is to import plugin in Semantic Kernel and made a direct call just to verify that the plugin works correctly. Well, the previous example can be improved dramatically because it was not the best way to interact with your kernel object in the RC3 version. So from the beta, the team changed a lot of things, and one of the things is changed is how you can create the kernel object. So in this other version of exercise 3 example, we see a really big difference. We specified both the plugin in C# and the plain prompt plugin in the builder object. And we use add from type, directly specifying the name of the class that contains the plugin, and add from prompt directory directly in the kernel builder. So when I build my kernel, it already had all the plugin loaded. And this is really good because it moves the actual definition of all the plugin you want to use with the kernel object in the kernel builder. So once you have the kernel builder, it contains everything you need to do, everything Semantic Kernel needs to do to create a kernel object that has the kind of plugin, the kind of configuration, and everything gets okay and super smooth. And then you can verify that instead of using the plugin and the try-get function, you can use directly the invoke async method of your kernel object to invoke a specific function of a specific plugin with a kernel argument. And as you can see in this example, each time that I'm calling a plugin and getting the result, I'm reusing the same kernel arguments because it's a dictionary, adding each time the new parameter to invoke the subsequent part of my chain. So in this code, it's much more concise, it's much more semantic kernel-like. I have a kernel with a predefined set of plugin and configuration that I've configured inside the kernel builder. And then I'm going to simply invoke my function sequentially to obtain my result. And everything should work flawlessly, even in this example. As you can see, the progress bar is showing me that the Python function was called because this is interacting with the OpenAI Whisper. So it's now gonna call my GPT-4 Turbo with my prompt. And I finally have my timeline and just verify that, okay, it's okay. I have called all my 3 plugin with a simple chain with few instruction, and it is really, really good. And this concludes this example about plugins and plugins initialization with the RC3, where we see that you usually now configure the plugin, you load the plugin with the kernel builder object, adding a directory where the kernel builder is going to search for a prompt plugin, and adding C# classes that contains method decorated with appropriate attribute that made Semantic Kernel discover that method as a plugin. And this will create with the build method from the kernel builder a fully configured kernel that can be used with all the function already configured. And finally, you can use the invoke async method of the kernel object just to invoke any plugin it imported from the configuration. And this will conclude this new video in which you learned how you can define plugin and how you can directly call plugin with the kernel object in Semantic Kernel library. Bye bye, and I'm waiting you for the next video.